Hi everybody, Dr. Zach here, and wanted to shoot a quick video. Just, I guess more than anything, is a wake-up call. And if there's anybody out there that is still living in a place of fear, I would say it's probably because you aren't paying attention to the right information. And I want to start by sharing some statistics here, because I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there that is specifically designed to keep us in a place of fear. And I've shared this before, that when we are in a place of fear, we lose our ability to make rational thoughts and rational choices. We become easily manipulated. And I think that as we look over the last 9 months and we look at the changes that we've all experienced in our lives, that there's been a lot of manipulation going on. And I think it's time for us to put a stop to it. And here's why I say this. So we take a look at just the numbers of people that have died over the last year compared to previous years. I've shared this before. I think that's the biggest indicator when we've got uncertainty about testing, about the quality of testing, about whether there is actually a legitimate COVID-19 test that exists, which I could give you lots of evidence that would say, yeah, there really isn't one. We can't deny that there have been people that have been sick and died this year. And that happens every year. And there's a certain population that tends to be the most vulnerable. And this year it's been the same as in previous years, right? It's the older population. It's the people with lots of different compromised health problems going on. This year's no different in that. But let's take a look at numbers. And I'll start with the United States, but I want to kind of look at a couple other countries as well, just so we can kind of get an idea. And this actually is information that comes from the CDC.gov website. And if we take a look at the total number of deaths in the United States, so this is just all ages, all diseases, all causes. Okay, so 2017, 2.8 million people died in the United States. That's a lot of people dying. And we go to 2018, 2.8 million people died in the United States. That's off by it's actually about 20,000 more than the previous year, but still 2.8 million is the number. We get to 2019, and we go up about another 6,000 deaths. We're 2.8 million, 2.845 is where it is. And obviously we're not done with 2020 yet, so we don't have all of the latest data on that. This is actually going through December 17th. So, we've got a couple more weeks to go. 2.78 million deaths this year. So in this year where we've been told that we're in a pandemic, and we've been told that people are dying right and left, that hospitals are full, that morgues are full, that we're stepping over bodies everywhere we go, even though that hasn't been our experience. We've been living in fear. We've been living in suppression. We've been living manipulated by the people that have been telling us that we're going to die. And it goes back, if we start at the very beginning of things, when we first started hearing about the coronavirus way back at the beginning of the year, and there was this guy, Dr. Ferguson, who came out of the Royal College in UK. And his guesstimation, based upon some computer model that had generated some numbers, said that in the United States we were expecting 2.2 million people to die from COVID-19. In the UK, over 500,000. So some big numbers, especially when we have 2.8 million people that die anyway before COVID-19 ever came around. So if COVID-19 was indeed going to take and just wreak havoc on our population and take out 2.2 million people, we would be looking at over 5 million people that have died in the United States this year. And so far, we're still just under 2.8 million. So the numbers are coming in right where they normally do on any average year. So something doesn't make sense. I'm not saying people haven't died with a coronavirus. People have died from lots of stuff, but what we've seen is that everything is being called COVID-19. We've seen influenza, which is one of the bigger killers every year, that's gone away. It's 5% of what it normally is. We've seen during the holiday season, which is one of the highest death rate seasons that we have all year long, where people see an increase from every form of disease. There's numbers that increase with the number of deaths. We've seen a decrease in heart disease, decrease in cancer, decrease in everything, because what we're being told is that anybody is being assumed when they're in the hospital to be assumed to be COVID positive. And so they're being diagnosed with that. We saw in Grand County here in Colorado that their coroner said, hey, why is it that these two guys with gunshot wounds that died from the gunshot wounds are called COVID-19 deaths? And so there's a lot of, a lot of people that should be critical about the numbers that show up for COVID-19 when we don't see any more people dying this year than in any normal year. We go to Spain, and Spain was hit really hard, right? In 2016, 409,000 deaths. 2017, 422,000 deaths. 2018, 427,000 deaths. 2019, 416,000 deaths. As of October 23rd, the latest numbers on them, 305,000 deaths. They're 100,000 behind. They've got to actually work hard in November and December to catch up with things. Sweden's caught a lot of grief because they haven't done the lockdowns. They haven't taken away jobs. They haven't shut down schools. They've been completely reckless in how they've handled this whole pandemic. 2016, 90,000 people died in Sweden. 2017, 91,000. 2018, 92,000. 2019, 88,000. 2020, through December 11th, 89,000. Right in with the averages of what's going on. The UK, again, this is going back where with the Royal College and Dr. Ferguson and his super high numbers, 500,000 people dying from COVID in the UK this year was his expectation. 2016, they had 525,000 deaths in the UK. 2017, 533. 2018, 541. 2019, 530. As of November 20th, 2020, 511,000. Right in with what they normally would have. So, and if you're still in fear, maybe it's time to get out of fear. Maybe it's time to realize that not any more people died this year than in previous years. There's been a lot of people who have been working really hard to convince us that we need to stay in fear. There's been a lot of people working really hard telling us that our lives are not going to get back to normal until we get a vaccine. And even with that, we're going to have to continue to comply with all of the ridiculous restrictions. Not seeing the people we love and care about. Wearing ridiculous things over our faces to cover up our identity and to quiet our voice. It's time to stand up, take back your rights. It's time to realize how amazing, how powerful you are, that you've got this God-given immune system, that you can fight novel viruses, and you've been doing that your entire life. Take some time today and to look at the numbers and think, does this make sense? Do I still need to be in a place of fear? Do I still need to cower? Or is it maybe time for me to stand up? And the reason I say stand up is because our rights aren't coming back to us unless we stand up and take them back. So let me encourage you today to take some time, think about how we've been lied to, and that maybe now it's time for us to stand up, take back our rights, and let those people who've been manipulating us for the last year know that we're not going to take it anymore. Till next time, this is Dr. Zach. God bless you guys and make today great.